A husband and a wife have an argument. They go to the rabbi. The husband says his piece. The wife says her piece. And the rabbi says to the husband, "You're right." He turns to the wife, "You're right." The mother-in-law says, "Rabbi, how can they both be right?" And the rabbi said, "You're also right." Rashi answers every question in the Bible. What does it mean that no peace comes out of quarreling? Now is the time for me to respond to a statement that was made a short while back by a woman by the name of Candace Owen. And yet children will get into an argument and 20 minutes later they'll be playing with each other. What's the reason? To understand the difference between arguing and quarreling. We look into the Torah portion, Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse number 1. Says the Torah, "Ki yeh riv bein anoshim, v'nikshu el hamishpat, u'shvatum, v'tzdiku es hatzadik, v'yishu es harasha." When there's a dispute between two parties, and they go to the law, and a decision is rendered declaring the one in the right and the other in the wrong. Let me translate this literally. V'tzdiku es hatzadik, and they will say the righteous person is right. V'hirishiu es harasha, and they will say the wicked person is wrong. This is what the Torah tells us. Comes the question to mind. It's obvious. If you go to court, then the judges will say who's right and wrong. Why must the Torah say, V'tzdiku es hatzadik, and you will make the righteous right, V'hirishiu es harasha, and you will make the wicked wrong? Why must Torah say this double language? Now, the classic commentator Rashi, the logician on the Torah, the famous commentator from Troyes, France, who teaches a child, a 5-year-old child, the Torah, which, by the way, one of the meanings of Rashi, besides being Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, is also Rabbon Shel Yisrael, the teacher of all Israel. So Rashi is considered to be the most primary and most essential commentator on the Bible, on the Torah. Yet when it comes to this statement, you shall make the righteous right and make the wicked wrong, Rashi makes no comment. Yet we find other people comment. Other commentaries do explain what this means. Number one, we find the Sifri. The Sifri says, what is the meaning you shall make the righteous right? When you come to court and you present the arguments, and now the judges need to deliberate. Says the Sifri, you should begin with the zchus. You should begin with making the person right, making the defendant right. Find his virtues, find his good qualities, find reasons that he is good. Then only after that should you find the reasons why he is guilty. So, according to the Sifri, we're talking about one person, and that is you first begin to see his good qualities, his good virtues, why he is not guilty, why he is righteous. Only after that do you turn the cards and begin to say why he is guilty. However, Rashi makes no such statement, no such comment, and therefore Rashi is not following this approach in this verse. There's another interpretation, and that's found in the Gemara, in the Talmud, in the Tractate of Makis, page 2, side B. And there the Gemara says that this verse alludes to the case of Edim Zoimimim, which are corrupted witnesses. So witnesses come along and say, for example, Ruvain is a murderer. He killed Shimon. Or Ruvain violated a Torah law. So now they say, Ruvain, you are wicked. because you violated the Torah law. 2 witnesses said you're wicked. The next day, or later that day, another set of witnesses come along and say, no, it's not true. We know that the first set of witnesses are corrupted, and Ruvain is righteous. Says the Gemara, this is the meaning of the verse, V'yitzdiku es tzaddik. You shall make the righteous person, who a moment ago was wicked, once again you shall make him righteous. Because the first set of witnesses were corrupted. Again, Rashi makes no reference to this statement in the Talmud. And he does not answer this question. Yet we know there's a rule. And that is Rashi answers every question in the Bible. So either he answers the question by not answering it because it's so obvious, or he made a previous statement in which he implies the answer. Before us, we have a handout of Rashi. Rashi on this verse, for Deuteronomy chapter number 25, verse number 1. Says Rashi the following, on the words, Ki yeh riv ben anoshim, when there will be a dispute, an argument, or a quarrel between two parties, says Rashi the following, Ki yeh riv soifam liyes negoshim el hamishpat. If they will quarrel between themselves, the end will be they will have to go to court. Emer me'ata, from here we derive, ein shalom, there is no peace. Teitzei mitoich miriva, that comes out of quarreling. Furthermore, mi goram leloit lifresh min atzadik, who caused Lot to leave Abraham? The tzaddik, havi omer zu meriva, this was quarreling. Now, what is Rashi telling us here? He is using the word over here, as we'll soon see, the word riv. What does the word riv mean? And what does it mean that no peace comes out of quarreling? On the contrary, you have a dispute, you have an argument, you have a disagreement, you don't have a conclusion, you go to a rabbi, you go to the court, you go to a judge, and you have arbitration, and they tell you what the answer is, and both people, both men, both women walk away happy and peaceful. That is really the objective. You had a disturbance, you had confusion. I thought I was right, you thought you were right, we weren't sure. We now go to court, we get a decision, and we walk away happy. That is the objective of arbitration. That is the objective of going to court. Why does Rashi tell us when there is riv, when there's a quarrel, the end will be, it's going to get worse. You're going to go to court. And then no good comes out of it. And the proof is, who caused Lot, Abraham's nephew, to leave Abraham and go somewhere else? It was the quarreling between the shepherds of Abraham and the shepherds of Lot. So where do we find peace? Where do we find unity? And how does Rashi answer the question, you shall make righteous the righteous and make wicked the wicked? And the answer is, as the Rebbe explains, that the word riv is really the choice of words. The word riv is a word that is unusual. The word riv means quarreling. Now, normally, when there's an argument in the Torah, the word that is used is davar. Davar means a thing. Like, Rabbi, I have something to talk to you about. Or davar means a matter. I have an issue, I have a matter, I need to discuss this. We have a matter between each other. We have this thing between each other. It's a davar. It's confusion. It's an argument. I have my opinion, you have your opinion. When you have a davar, when you have a difference of opinions, but you are looking for the truth, the emet, then you will have peace. However, if there's a riv, which is a quarrel, a bitter dispute, when there's a dogfight, when you're at each other's throats, and it's about being right, then you have no peace. And so the Torah says, you should know if two people are looking to be right, and two people are looking to kill each other, and you will go to court, there will be no peace from the court. The end will be, v'tzdiku es tzaddik. The court will say, yeah, you're right, and you're wrong. But you won't settle anything. You're still going to be angry with each other. I want you to think for a moment. A presidential debate. Should this be about who is right, or should it be the pursuit of truth? What is best for the country? Or is it about I'm right and you're wrong? Something to think about. Along these lines, I believe now is the time for me to respond to a statement that was made a short while back by a woman by the name of Candace Owen, who said that the Lubavitcher Rebbe is a white supremacist. Now, I feel compelled to respond to this because I am a student of the Rebbe. Not a day goes by that I don't learn the Rebbe's teachings, or at least think about the Rebbe. And being raised by the Rebbe, and listening to the Rebbe, and seeing the Rebbe, and hearing the Rebbe, I believe that I have an obligation to respond to this young lady, who I feel is uneducated and totally misinformed. To begin by the following. I know for a fact that the Rebbe said these words. When someone approached the Rebbe and told the Rebbe, that person is black, the Rebbe said to the person the following: since when does a soul, a neshama, have a color? The Rebbe was literally colorblind and spiritually colorblind. By him, there was no such thing as white, black, yellow, or green. On the contrary, the Rebbe lived by the teachings of Hillel. Hillel says in Ethics of Our Fathers, Hevei mitalmidav shel Aaron, you shall be from the disciples of Aaron. Oyev shalom, v'roidev shalom. Oyev es ebriyos u'mekorvan laTorah. Which means, Oyev shalom, love peace, love peace. V'roidev shalom, pursue peace, run after peace. And then comes the clincher. Oyev es habriyos, love every person, Jew, non-Jew, any color, any country, any nationality, love every person. Umekorvan laTorah. And hopefully you can bring that person closer to God, to spirituality, and to holiness. And furthermore, the Rebbe empowered all the nations of the world and came out with a campaign that every single human being is created in the image of Almighty God. And we carry God's image and holiness upon us. And therefore, to maintain that holiness and to maintain that image of Almighty God, each person needs to follow the Noahide laws, which means to be good and kind to others, to be charitable, to be respectful, and to realize that each person matters. You are here for a reason. You are not here by mistake. Every human being has a responsibility in this world to make the world a better place, to bring godliness into this world, to bring light into this world. And this is the message I learned from the Rebbe. And therefore, when we talk about ki yeriv ben anoshim, when you talk about people debating one the other, there are times that the Torah says there are those who are totally right. V'tzdiku es tzaddik. You shall say that tzaddik is right. V'yishiu es rasha, and you have to call out the person who is wrong. V'yishiu es rasha, and you have to say that the rasha is mistaken. Furthermore, one can argue and say, when it comes to a riv, when it comes to a quarrel, I don't want to get involved. Stop fighting and then come to me and we'll talk. Says the Torah, no. Even when there's a riv and there's a quarrel, and you can say both of them are wrong, I don't want to talk to you till you stop quarreling and bickering. Says the Torah, no. If they come to you for help, you have to sit down and listen to both sides and say, if it's digu as a tzaddik, for Yeshua as a rasha, because it's possible that one is totally right and one is totally wrong. One final story. There's a beautiful teaching from the Tzemach Tzedek. And he says like this. We find that adults get angry with each other. And for 20 years, they won't talk to each other because of something that happened 20 years ago. And yet children will get into an argument, and 20 minutes later, they'll be playing with each other. What's the reason? Says the Tzemach Tzedek that adults would rather be right than happy. And children would rather be happy than be right. And this is the lesson of the parsha. Be happy. Search for truth. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. And this is the message of the month of Elul. How do we prepare for the new year? How do we get ready for Rosh Hashanah? How are we certain that God will give us a Shana Tova Masukah? We look into the letters of Elul. Elul stands for Ish L'Re'eyu U'Matonos L'Avyonim. A person to his friend and gifts to the poor. By giving charity, by being kind, by being nice, by being happy and helping others, that is the way we are certain that God v'tzdiku es tzaddik, we will all be righteous, and God will verify and validate that righteousness. V'tzdiku es tzaddik, and to give us a year, a shana tova masukah, a year that is good, and the ultimate blessing, a year of the coming of Mashiach from Hera b'meinu, amen. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any question, please write it in the comments.